Alright, the Yak is back with another video, and I want to start this one off by saying thank you to everyone who has subscribed to the channel so far. You are appreciated, and as a token of my appreciation, I'm going to be doing a giveaway at 100 subs. So it's going to be something that I fabricate for the EF chassis here. And if you have any ideas on what that could be, because I haven't really come up with it yet, if it's something that's not too crazy, like a strut bar, exhaust component, something along those lines, drop it down in the comments, let me know, and I'll knock it out, and it'll be the giveaway item. So with that said, let's jump into today's content, which is fabricating a pie cut exhaust for my Turbo Civic. Alright, so we ended up getting some goodies in the mail this last week. I ordered both of these off of Amazon. So this is an Evil Energy 3-inch V-band. Picked it up for I think around 30 bucks, and it's pretty good quality for the price that I paid. So I'm going to be running this guy, and then I'm going to be running this exhaust tubing. This is 3-inch 304 stainless, and it's by a company called Squirrely Performance. And I've actually used this tube before. I'll show you a little sample that I got up here. So this is kind of like a piece that I show everyone if I do any work for somebody, and I show them the difference between, let's see, focus, between not back purged here on the left and then back purged on the right. So you can see the sugaring on the inside of the piece that was not back purged, and then the piece that was back purged has some good color on the other side and is going to withstand the test of time. So anyways, I've used this tube before, and it's good stuff. I would compare it to like something like Vibrant Racing. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking this V-band flange, and I want to chop this existing one off on the turbo because this is only 2.5 and I want to run 3-inch straight off the turbo. So I'll probably chop it right here. And but first I need to identify what metal this housing is made out of, because it's going to be dependent on what filler that I use for TIG welding. So if it's cast steel, then it's not that big of a deal. I can run some 309L stainless steel filler. But if this is cast iron, then I need to order the proper filler, some nickel filler that's a bit more expensive. And but anyways, I'm going to show you guys how to identify if this is cast steel or cast iron with a simple grind test. So let's do that first. Hopefully, fingers crossed that this is cast steel, and we can knock this thing out today. Alright, so this is going to be a very easy test. I got my grinder all set up, and since I don't really care about the edge of this V-band flange, since I'm going to be cutting it off anyways, this would be a perfect place to grind on. So what I'm looking for here is if I see a lot of sparks instantly come off this V-band, and it's shooting out basically from the grinding wheel, then I know that it's cast steel. But if I grind on this and I see the sparks further away, and they're kind of feathering further away, that's a good indication that this is cast iron. And actually looking at it now, I got a kind of a bad feeling that this is cast iron, just based upon the way that the metal looks. So, but I'm still going to test it. Hopefully it's cast steel, and I won't have to order that special nickel filler rod. So let's see.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
Alright, so this is going to be a classic case of do as I say and not as I do. So I've already identified that this is actually cast iron. Originally I thought it was cast steel, but it is cast iron. I did a grind test on it, and what that means is I don't have the proper filler to actually weld this to this V-band flange, but I'm going to use some 309L stainless steel filler, which is not designed for this, but hopefully I can get lucky and it won't crack. If it does, no big deal. I found another one of these on Amazon that is steel that'll work fine if this one does crack. So with that said, I'm going to grind this, get it nice and flush, put the V-mount on there, tack it in place, and then I'll probably preheat it and then get this V-band welded on there. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it doesn't crack, which it most likely will. Alright, so I got this thing all welded up, and we might have gotten away with one here. So, as I showed in the video, I just kind of did little small sections. I was trying not to put too much heat into it, because I figured the less heat, the less chance there was of any cracking. And going around this thing, I do not see any evidence of cracking. And then when I was done welding, I was just kind of hitting it with the torch, letting it cool down real slow. And it looks pretty good to me, so we'll throw it on the car, and just because it looks good doesn't mean that it's going to last, but it'll at least get us started. So if it cracks, I'll get a different flange and go from there. But for now, we're ready. And this gold flange looks pretty sweet with all the color in it.
Trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you. For the record, lab on me going all the way. For the record, ain't trying to link, no time to waste. For the record, for the record, yeah. For the record, yeah. For the record, yeah. For the record, for the record, yeah. For the record. Been a little too nice to y'all. Now I gotta up price for y'all. Snake eyes on dice for y'all. Shoulders on ice for y'all. Frozen. A6 all the hate. I won't get involved today. Got lost in the ball and age. I'm flipping the bars. I'm flipping the. On record, off record. I still count wins when they doubt it. On record, off record. I let them take advantage. I was wildin'. On record, off record deals. Tell them talk to Colin for the quote. On record, off record. I still want to act, not to go. For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you. For the record, lab on me going all the way. For the record, ain't trying to link, no time to waste. For the record, for the record, yeah. For the record.
Alright, we got this little downturn exhaust section on there, and originally I was just going to leave it like this, but the more that I think about it, the more that it makes sense to angle this back and run it underneath the oil pan a little bit further, only because I do have to get an O2 bung welded on here at some point, and ideally you want that O2 bung to be about 6 to 8 inches away from the turbo. The only problem with that is if I did that on this setup, it would come down and it would basically be at the end of this exhaust right here, and I'm not going to get an accurate reading if my O2 is basically hanging out right here. So if I add some more tube, kick this thing back, it's going to be a much more accurate reading, and it's going to allow tuning to be spot on, which is what I want when I go to get this thing tuned. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to take a little bit of a break from filming. I want to get some more stuff done on the car. Like I got the some gaskets and stuff that I need to get on here, like the valve cover gasket and intake manifold. Bunch of little random stuff, but I think I'm going to take a break this next week from filming and just go ahead and knock out everything that I can on the car to try to speed up the process and hopefully get this thing started in the next couple weeks. So thank you guys so much for watching. And if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.